When I was 14, I planned my wedding.
This one's wife. Backgrid. Make sure you catch the Mercy Dash. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. This one's wife needs to remain relevant. Relevance means she can control more people. Relevance means more people will react to her, thus giving her her lifeblood, which is fuel. Relevance means that she can leverage that for the purposes of seeming importance, that she can seem to be prolific, which could give her the possibility of sponsorships, of brand partnerships, etc., and to make money. The difficulty that she has is that she has no real talent on which she can remain relevant. Taylor Swift, for example, whether you like her or whether you don't, you have to acknowledge that she does have ability. She can sing, she can write songs, although she does have collaborations in that regard. She is a decent enough performer. And therefore, she does have a talent, which has led to her being very wealthy, receiving oodles of awards, and having millions upon millions of fans all around the world. David Beckham, again, like him or dislike him, he had a talent. He was a very good footballer. Not the best the world has seen, but it was the old case of bend it like Beckham. He could certainly cross a ball and pinpoint a pass. Therefore, allied with the fact that he wasn't a bad-looking chap, and he knows how to market himself with advice, he stayed relevant, but he capitalised on an existing talent. And there are many people around the world whose relevance remains because they're able and talented. They can sing, they can dance, they can write fascinating novels, they bring up brilliant research, they can invent. They are great broadcasters. They are fantastic speech writers or speech givers. They're innovators. They've got amazing sporting prowess. Whatever it might be, that enables them to gain prominence and thereafter to remain relevant, that they continue to comment upon the sport that they excelled at, bringing insight and observations. Although some pundits don't often bring much to the party, there are others that do. And the fact is that they've all generally been there and proved themselves at the highest or nearly the highest level. Individuals can comment upon acting careers. They can comment upon a performance. They can critique it because they've been in the industry, they've been there, they've done it. But for this one's wife, there is no talent. A mediocre actress who can't sing, who can't dance, who can't write, who can't give speeches, who is ostensibly boring and beige, what has she got to provide? Nothing. She hasn't built up a fantastic company. She hasn't created a brand that is particularly wanted. She hasn't come up with amazing ideas. She just flings around fridge magnet platitudes, plagiarizes of other people, and trots out the same boring beigeness that we've encountered time and time again. Indeed, the PR puff pieces invariably bring up the past, as she attempts to dine out on past events which aren't even that talented in an attempt to maintain that relevance. In the circumstances, she has to fight hard to maintain that relevance. And one way that she does this is by being spotted. She at least knows that the prominence that she has achieved, albeit as a consequence of marrying Prince Harry, results in many of the things that she says and does being reported on. As I've explained recently, in some instances that's reported on because there are people who are interested in what she's doing, and then more likely people want to read or watch what she's been up to because they're watching the train wreck as it inexorably heads towards that final crash. And, of course, the media outlets know this. They know they get the clicks. They know they get the views. They knew that the advertising will be heavy in relation to something associated with the Duchess of Sussex. And therefore, they continue to talk about her, that they continue to report on her. And she knows that and has been advised as such. Therefore, she falls into that trap that, in effect, many influencers do. For instance, posting you a picture of their lunch or them posing outside of a monument. Anybody can do that. That's not a talent. But these supposed influencers believe that there's something special and able to do that. And that every piece of minutiae of their life, for instance, you see a lot of this on the reels, on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, of ostensibly attractive women jigging around and shaking their bits, because there'll be a lot of men that'll watch that. That isn't a talent, but nevertheless it gets views, so they do it. And it leads to them wandering around doing ridiculous things, showing off their cleavage whilst they're gardening. The two things ordinarily wouldn't be equated, but they do this because it gets them the views. And this one's wife is no better. For regularly, she would ensure that Backgrid were notified about the fact that she's gone hiking in the middle of the street, or that she's entering a sushi restaurant, which Cameron Diaz is outside of. Or here she is, walking across a parking lot. And she's at it again, but this time ensuring that it's her husband's mercy dash that is recorded. For, as you will be able to see on your screens, there are two pictures showing Prince Harry's personal Range Rover arriving at LAX, and it was seen entering a private terminal at the airport, and in both instances highlighted, credit is Backgrid. A simple statement could have been announced by the Sussexes that Harry was flying to see his father to provide his support. Need not provide no more than that. But of course, this one's wife needs to ensure that the Sussex brand has a degree of prominence, and therefore has once again tipped off her favourite PAP agency to ensure that the blacked-out SUV is seen arriving at LAX. We don't need to see that information, but nevertheless, there it is. And photographs then duly appear, thus creating more of a talking point and enabling her to capitalise on that by saying, yes, Harry's gone to see his father, it's with my blessing, ensure that you're talking about me in relation to this event, because after all, I am a narcissist, I'm thirsty for fuel. Her narcissism drives her to notify Backgrid about this in relation to something that we don't actually need to know about, but it causes her to do this. The justification in her own mind is that it is appropriate for people to know about what the Sussexes are up to, and that she believes that people are interested for genuine reasons. Namely, they care about what the Sussexes are doing, whereas the reality is most people who take an interest in what she's doing do so because they're looking for her to foul up once again. But here we have Harry's mercy dash, which has to be highlighted and brought to the attention of the world via Backgrid, which we all know is the favoured PAP agency of this one's wife. Once again, this one's wife utilising the predicaments of other people to publicise herself. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.